believe the show we've got today. Woo-hoo-hoo. Playoff special. Championship playoff special. Man, we're so excited. You guys got to be excited because we have broken it right down. My main man, JP, who is a legend at breaking these down. What's happening, lad? What's going down, man?
I'll tell you, this has been the toughest walk ever. Having two screens, my eyes were like that way. Saturday night, my eyes were gone. Good job. It's good job Britain's Got Talent wasn't on Saturday. I'd have needed two tellies to focus. I was gone.
I tell you, lad. But you've broken it down because that's what you do well. Man, what have we got on the show today, brother? Tell me what we got.
It's all about the playoffs.
What do you mean?
Let's put a statement right out there. Whatever we're going to say during this episode, it is not personal. It's not personal. It's either about the sport or about the system. So it's not personal. Don't take it personal. And if you take it personal, go and train harder or something.
Your Honour, it's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I swear on the holy playbook.
Beano. What, you swearing on the Beano?
No, the playbook. The playbook. Right, my team's playbook. Okay, let's roll. Man, it's going to be a show and a half. Unfortunately, this week, no masterclass because he was scared of me because I got 4 out of 5. Well, I'd really got 5 out of 5. So there's no masterclass. There's no JP's news round. I don't even know if we've got time for a goddamn break because this guy, honestly, he's a legend on breaking it down. People have been calling us in. They've been talking to us, about why you guys are not involved in it. We don't care about that this week. It is only playoff special. And you guys are going to think, they're only going to do the Premier Division. You're wrong. We're going from Friday night at the movies. Have you ever heard that song? No, it's Saturday night at the movies. Sorry, I got it wrong. Saturday night at the movies. We're going from Friday's doubleheader, semi-finals of the WPL. Then we're going to roll into Saturday, all day Saturday. Then we're going to roll into Sunday. Man, we got it all for you. Whatever we're going to talk about, it's here. It is here. And all you guys are going to go, you didn't show up at the weekend. You didn't come at the weekend. Let me tell you the reason why.
Tell them, Saint. Tell them. They need to know.
I am not putting no coffers in their pocket. I'm not putting nothing in their pocket. Nothing. Nothing. What about you, John?
Well, I think we'll cover it in the second half of the show regarding paying to go and watch this.
Right. Let's get into it. Where are we starting, big guy? Where are we starting?
Buckle down, lad. Buckle down.
I'm buckling down, man. I'm buckling down.
It's about to start. Well, first of all, game 1. WPL. Yes, I sat and watched it. And, we all knew straight away the result was inevitable. We all knew he was going to win. Same as the whole season. But the thing that stood out the most was this. This is our assessment because we spoke about it. Watching Amy Conroy in the WPL would be like watching Simon Munn in the 3rd division. It's not a challenge for her because the level is so poor. She's bossing the league because she's not challenged. It's not that she's having a great league, a great season. It's just the level is so low. And she's a Paralympian, a multi-time Paralympian. She stands out. She's going to stand out.
Yeah, and I think she's one of the top players in the world. When she's on her game, she's one of the top cats in the world. And I don't think the WPL's been... If that's all the games that she's played all season, she ain't played no European basketball. If that's all she's playing, man, we're in trouble, man.
Well, just to give you an insight of how low the level is, Kofi Carrigill played in Italy last year, didn't she, for Briantia?
She sat on the bench, you mean?
Yeah, she sat on the bench. Well, this year she's playing she's not only playing. This is how low the level is in the WPL. She was ball handling. Now, when do you see her carry the ball for GB women?
Never.
You don't see the ball in her hand. If it is, it's by accident. That's the level. She was ball handling at parts of the game.
And like, we're talking about, this is the first game. The game finished 72-27. This is a semi-final of your greatest league that you keep telling us all about. East London Phoenix versus Worcester. This is a semi-final. It finished 72-27. Come on.
Yeah, in the semi-final. In the semi-final. I mean, the one aspect is the team that won scored over 60 points. The magic number. In wheelchair basketball, we say it all the time. If you score 60 or more, or you're around that number, you're in the game.
You're in the ball game, but this wasn't even a contest.
No, it wasn't.
You know, Lucy Robertson, double-double, good for her, 10 points, 13 rebounds. But this competition is a shambles. Yeah. It's a shambles. That's your first semi-final. You've got people to come there on a Friday night to watch that. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that first semi-final anymore.
I mean, realistically, put it into another situation. If the Premier League semis were in place of the WPL, so the Premier League semis were Friday night, and the prime time hotspot of Saturday evening was the Premier League third and fourth playoff and final, would it have been a better format? Absolutely. Let me tell you this. People that were coming down on Friday having to travel would have filled that arena better to watch the Premier League. And I bet any money you want, people who travelled, didn't go to the arena to watch the WPL, they would have chilled out in their hotel room. Because I would have.
Listen, I turned off. I just couldn't watch anymore. It was just it wasn't even a showcase. It was abysmal. Let's get to the second game, because it's not even worth carrying on with that first one.
Well, the second game was Loughborough Lightning, the defending champions, against the new team, Mohawks. The result, I'd say it was one at the line, free throw line.
Yeah, for sure.
The result finished 66-61 to Loughborough. But when you break it down and you read the stats like us, Loughborough made 7 of 21 free throws, while the Mohawks were 1 of 4.
And to be fair, watching the game, I thought the Mohawks were the better team. They just run out of gas at the end, and I don't think they had a great strategy at the end of at the end of the game.
Let's not forget, Mohawks were fielding a 5-point player.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. That's a bit strange, but you know, she had a great game. To be fair, is it McHafe? Double, 17 points, 8 rebounds.
No, Leanne Adams was a 5-point player. Double.
But she had 16 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists. Yeah, it's nice. And Alice McHaffey, double, 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 12 assists. I thought they should have won the game, to be fair. I thought they should have won the game.
Well, it was there for the taking, to be honest. I mean, let's not... I can't believe I have to say this. This is the flagship of our nation. We're branding this the flagship. It says it all. It just says it all.
But back into the game, I thought they should have won the game. I think they had all the tools there to win the game. I think they actually threw it away, to be fair.
Yeah, I think they did.
Down the stretch, I think they threw it away. But, you know.
I honestly think Mohawks would have left that game knowing it was there for the taking.
Yeah. And I truly believe, obviously, they lost 66-61. I think they were the only ones that probably could challenge East London, to be fair. Give them a game. But, yeah, that was the end of... That was the
end of Friday night.
Which is their flagship that they say. And it kind of was I don't even know what to say. I think that game kind of bailed it out a little bit because the first one was a shit show, to be fair. But, hey... That's Friday night done. Wrapped.
Yep. So then Saturday morning.
Semi-finals day.
Early start for a marathon. And it was a marathon. And we started off, which was game 3. Folkestone Arrows against Swansea Storm.
Do you know what? it's nice to see different teams like Folkestone Arrows and Swansea Storm. Nice to see different teams in the league now at Division 3 level.
It was actually, but Swansea, to be fair, they looked organised and they had a good press. They looked the better of the two teams, even though the result went to Swansea and they won the game 35-55. It was down to the press. They were organised, Swansea. The press
was led by... And it's actually good to see at a third division level that they're organised. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, we'll go further down in how they go in Division 2 as we move down. So, yeah. What was it?
Swansea had this guy. I tell you now, if you've ever watched the Larry Bird documentary about how the coach told Larry Bird, if he keeps mopping up the floor, he won't last long in that league. Well, they had this kid, this big 4 or 4.5, Corey Cox, his name was. He was a big guy. But he could move with the ball. He could carry the ball. He could dribble. I mean, he was good. He was good to watch. Corey Cox made the game exciting. But did he mop up the floor? He got wiped out several times and he just bounced back up, this young kid. He was really good to watch.
24 points. That's a big haul. Even in a game, it's a big haul.
Yeah, he top scored with 24. The problem I'm seeing, and you'll see it on the stats, because the stats are up on BWB website, is when you look at the majority of scoring now, everything's inside. But when you watch a game, you've got the bigs ball handling, you've got the big shooting outside, and you've got the big shooting inside. There's no game for the mids and the lows anymore. Yeah. It's like you're a pawn in a chess game.
But I think if you're going to elevate your game to the next level, you got to have your mids out on the floor ball and your bigs to get inside. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he hit 24, but if he was playing mainly inside, he'd probably hit 44.
Exactly. This is what I don't understand. When you've got a big, just get the big under the basket, let someone else carry.
Yeah. Just kick it, throw the ball to him. Throw the ball to him. Like, you sent me something over the week, which was interesting, was in USA, they've got a camp just for bigs. Now, that's really interesting. Just for bigs.
Yeah, and who's it led by? None other than Darryl Waller and Brian Bell.
Yeah, but bigs, you know what I mean? Maybe we need a bigs camp because the 4.5s and the 4s are dying in. But anyway...
the only thing with Arrows, I would say,
inside the key.
About Folkestone Arrows, the only thing I'd say was, out of the 35 points they scored in that game, 25 of them were inside. They didn't have an outside threat, really.
So we move on.
That was semi-final 1 of Division 3. Then we got to semi-final 2, which was Lothian against Jags. Now, I've got to say, on camera, I'm a fan of Lothian. I don't know why. I think they're well organised as a brand, as a team, and they look the real deal.
It was a hell of a game, man. It was a hell of a game.
Well, this one, it had it all. And Lothian were chasing the game several times, but they never gave up.
The thing is that, you know what I mean, that this was the best game so far in the tournament, and the first 3 minutes were missing.
Yeah, well, that happened several times. The stream... I had people messaging. Our inbox went lit up soon as something happened wrong. I wish we could fix it. I really do. But, it happened in another game as well. We'll probably flag that up when we get to it. But the game ended 56-55 to Lothian.
What a game. Right?
The first 3 minutes never streamed. Big shout out to this guy. Do you remember John Harper, who used to play for Sheffield Steelers?
Yeah.
Quietest fella in the world. I mean, I don't think he would ever have rage. I don't think he's had rage in this life. I think he's older than me, but he's never had rage where I have it several times a day. But Mr. Quiet ended up with a triple-double. I couldn't believe it. He had 10 points, 10 rebounds, 1-pointer. Classic. Absolutely classic John Harper.
You said a triple-double. He had a double-double.
Double-double, I mean. Sorry. Double-double.
Oh, my goodness. Good thing I'm here.
Did I say triple-double?
You did, yeah.
If I find this, I'll edit it out because I'm not making mistakes live on camera.
Yes, you are.
I'm too good for that. But the game came down to 29 seconds to go. And with 29 seconds to go, Lothian's, what's his name? Owen Shannon, I think it is. Owen Shannon. He's a 5-point player. I think it was him. He got fouled, made the basket, went to the line. Game's tied, 55-all. So I'm watching, I'm thinking, it's on here, it's on. Anyway, he makes the free throw. Timeout happens. That was it. That was all they wrote.
56-55. And the interesting thing on that is Lothian were 46 of 56 points inside the key, but the Jags had 52 of their 55 points inside the key. The Jags, Simon West top scored with 23 points and bagged the 10 rebounds to go for a double-double. But wow, what a game that was.
Yeah, Simon West had a good game, to be honest.
It could have gone either way, that game. Could have gone either way.
It could have. It was the best watch this far until we got to this point. It was the best watch. But then game 5, we broke into Division 2. And next up, Steelers Coventry. I was excited.
So I thought that was going to be a closer one. Absolute closer one.
So did I. Let me tell you this. Apart from Coventry having this kid, he's like, who does he remind me of? His name's Tom Cutts.
23 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Whoa, that's a haul.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. He reminds me of the guy in the juniors who plays in Sassery.
Plays for Sassery.
What's his name in the under-23s?
Oh, I don't know.
McIntyre.
Oh, yeah.
He reminded me of McIntyre. Charlie McIntyre, is it?
Yeah, it's Charlie, yeah.
Yeah, he reminded me of Charlie McIntyre. He was dead good to watch. He was a bit like in Division 3 with Corey Cox. This Tom Cutts. He had game, I'm telling you. He was another big. And he made the game interesting. I mean, apart from him, Steelers had their own young superstar, Bradley Thompson.
Yeah, I know him. I'd love to do some work with him. 17 points, shooting 8 of 29. That's like, 8 of 29 is not.
Well, I thought that. When I read that, 8 of 29, I mean, I don't know. I shot a lot in the game, but I don't think I had 29 shots. Yeah. I reckon Murray had to give me the herb treatment.
No, but I'd love, I've known Bradley for a long time, sorted out his first year and everything like that. I'd love to do some work with him because I think he could be an absolute superstar.
Well, yeah, to be honest, he was in the game, but also Coventry's Finn Dowdeswell.
18 points, Dowdeswell. 18 points and 16 rebounds. Woo, that's a haul.
Yeah, 15 down. And the thing with him was, he had Tom Cutts backing him up. That was the difference. He had a 2-pronged attack.
Yeah.
And that was the difference in the game. I mean, the game finished 37-55, was it?
Well, our young Bradley, it's 17 points, 11 rebounds. That's a good haul. But I'd like to work on it, especially with his shooting and do some good things for him because I think he's a superstar in the making.
So then the other game 6, which was the Division 2 other semi-final, this one I was excited for. It was the High Rollers against Manchester Revolution.
Smokey!
Well, he didn't play. He was there, but he didn't play. And they had a couple of old schoolers. I'll say old schoolers because they're from my era. They had Hadj Lamar and they had, who's the other guy? Alan Mansell was playing for the High Rollers.
Oh, it's good to see those guys playing. They've gone through a lot, They were up there at the top, but they're rebuilding their team, which is good to see, man.
They're in the grey hair gang, let's say now, them two.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Hadj Lamar, he had a great game. 21 points, 10 assists.
He is one for you. So the game, went to Revolution. They won it 55-63. The difference in the game, or the game winner, the one that made the difference in the game, was a guy called Jamie Morris. He was a 5-point player.
25 points, 14 rebounds. Oof. That's a haul.
Yeah.
There's a pattern coming here, lad. There's a pattern coming here.
What do you mean, a pattern?
Well, 5-pointers running the game.
Yeah.
There's a pattern. That's not, that's like, you know, that's probably the third team that we've said about it. But Henley Kavanagh, he had a good game. 11 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 away from a triple-double. Woo! One away.
Now, remember what we said.
Hey, who was coaching that team? The Manchester Revolution.
Do what?
Who was coaching them?
Oh, I don't know what's happening. We remember in Euro Cup show we did, all the coaches on the Manchester Revolution bench, you've got Dan Johnson, Gary Peel, John Stainton, Lucas Warburton. They've got that many coaches. I can't even tell who's a physio. How did it work out? Who's ranked what? Well, let me tell you this. For this game, the old boy, Gary Peel, was head coach and Dan was assistant. And if you've ever seen this pose, that's Gary's coaching stance.
That's his pose.
He was in full mode, I tell you. He did it in the semi, he did it in the final. Gary Peel. But, give him his due, they got the win. For the Rollers, Hadj Lamar had a double-double, 21 points, 10 assists. But going back to Henley Kavanagh, and we'll speak more about it later, I'm going to say it now. There was lots of people at this finals that are not classified right, and they're going to end up on the third eye. And I'm telling you, I know he's going through USA, Henley Kavanagh. I think he's got signed for Alabama. He's not going to stay at 2.5. He's never at 2.5. He's huge, and he's missing 3 fingers.
And he's just a 2.5.
So it's going to come down to that again.
Is it just that he's just missing 3 fingers?
It's a bit like, what was his name? He used to play the Spanner Man.
Oh, yeah. Foz, yeah.
So he's got one good hand, his left hand, and his right hand's a bit.
And like we're saying, you know, you can't be giving 2 points?
He's a single leg amputee, and he's got 3 fingers missing. And he sits as high as Simon.
Yeah, but the maximum's got to be a point.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, but let's move on, bruv. We're going into Division 1.
He led the way. He led the way. Game 7. Now we're getting hot. Now we're getting into Division 1. Steelers Titans.
Which I thought was going to be a good game too. But
well, I thought this was going to be a barn burner, to be honest. And
it was mentioned by
one of the commentators, Dylan Cummins, who commentated on a few games, actually used your barn burner phrase at one point.
Brother, get your own catchphrase.
Have you got copyright on that, Saint?
Yeah, get your own catchphrase. But anyway, it's good to use it. At least he's listening and watching the show.
Anyway, I know on paper, Steelers Titans sounds like the real deal. This was a fizzle out. This was a bottle of pop where you opened it and it didn't have a hiss.
It was a fizzle out.
The game finished Steelers 64, Titans 37. And it was just Steelers were far superior. Far superior.
Did Titans make any changes in the game while they, to try and get back in the game? It just fizzled out right from the start, didn't it?
I've seen it throughout. I know we're going to address it in the second half of the show, but nothing was done to change the outcome of the game. And it's this level of coaching that I'm on about.
Yeah, so shout out for Steelers Joe Williams. He top scored with 18 points. Now,
yeah, he did.
Another game we thought was going to be a barn burner, the semi-final. The second semi-final, which was the Aces and the Jags. I thought that was going to be, we're talking about final, they've made the playoffs. We're talking about the Final Four. And if you look at it so far, we've had one game that's lived up to a semi-final. One game so far, and we're on game 8. And this wasn't any better.
Not result-wise.
Player-wise, there's some good players in that in that group.
I think I could have found a diamond in a rough. So they had this kid, Aces. Aces was led by Jordan Luch, the French international. I don't know why a French international is playing Division 1.
I think he lives close to there, which, you know, but yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah, but the way that guy plays as a 4 or 4.5, whatever he is, he cuts across in transition. He never goes down in straight lines. He's always going across. Yeah. I love when people cross. It should be a fundamental in the game. When he crosses, he drags that much attention. Sean Chigumba.
Yeah, he's definitely a diamond. Definitely a diamond that we spotted.
He's the diamond in the rough, Sean Chigumba. Definitely. Whether we're back to the third eye, whether he's a 2, the way he's sat with no bucket.
Yeah. Third eye. That's why we got this third eye. But yeah, he's definitely.
He had a great game.
The thing is, even if he's a 2.5 or a 2, he's definitely one for the future, without a shadow of a doubt.
I don't know what the rule is in regards to having 5-pointers on your team. I thought each team was allowed 1 5-pointer in the lineup.
I think it's 1 on the court.
All right. Well, Aces have 5 on the roster.
3 or 5.
3 5-pointers on the roster.
Yeah. But, you know, Jordan Luce, he had 12 points, 11 rebounds. Jags Stan had 14 points and 14 rebounds. But it is expected, but I would have thought Luce should have been at least at 20. He should be scoring at least 20, 25 points in that game. Aces go down 48 to Jags 65. So Jags are having a good, they're not doing too bad.
Semi-final of the Premier League. And I tell you, this was the one. I was excited all day waiting for this one. Revs against Steelers. Old El Clasico of our division, our nation, I'd call it. El Clasico.
Yeah, it is an El Clasico, isn't it?
I'm going to say it straight out there. Revs was shocking. I've never seen them play that bad all year. I've watched them in Euro Cup. I've watched them in the league at home. I've never seen them play that bad. They didn't share the ball. They just weren't there. Yeah, it just was not there.
It's just weird because that's not the way they play basketball. I know, Manchester are the old Oldham, and that style that Oldham have been playing for years. It just didn't look like anything was there. I think there's too much distractions for people doing other things instead of concentrating on what they're meant to be doing.
Well, one distraction is this. Tyler Baines, who have blown Otter up his skirt all season, he had an average game at best. Robin Love, she was 1 of 11. GB women's talisman was 1 of 11, 9% shooting.
Tally's lady.
1
of what?
1 of 11, 9%.
But there was a star on show. There definitely was a superstar on show.
There was a superstar.
An absolute superstar.
The superstar, let's just say, she went in that game fired up to show the association and everyone watching that GB's best female is out. And that's Maddie Thompson. She was electric.
Oh, so, just love watching her play the game, man. She's a superstar. Any coach in the world, you'd be begging her to come back into your international team. 4-pointer.
It's not just any coach saying, think of it this way. If she was another nation's player, they would be bending her ear to get her back. And they just let her out the back door.
Let's get it right. She wouldn't have gone in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
She's a superstar. She's an absolute superstar. And for her not to be going to LA is a travesty.
Yeah.
It's a travesty. And these people are just, I don't even understand it. You can see she's a superstar. Absolute superstar. She played, Well,
the thing with Maddie was she got in 3 fouls and she had to go off. And that was when Manchester made the move and the game got close. And when the game got close, Kev decided to put Maddie back in.
He called for Wonder Woman.
Well, let's put it this way: when she came back in, the game was put to bed.
Was it?
That's how much of a difference she made.
Was it a?
Yeah.
Night.
She gave it to Steve Curry all day. It was over. Steelers' zone was far better organised. It made Oldham rush. It made people take. I actually think Kev had probably organised who they want to shoot in offence.
Yeah, definitely. But he's, Kev's old school coach. I think he done a great job. An absolute great job in that game.
Well, I don't know if it was assistant, because as you can see on the screen now, Kev's assistant had his sleeves rolled up and was wearing sunglasses. Now, I don't know if it was an open top arena or this guy had been watching Happy Days and he's a fan of the Fonzie. I don't know. But Sargentson, sunglasses and rolled up sleeves.
Get a grip, lad. Come on. No, it's definitely Kev. Definitely Kev on that.
But Tyler Baines ended up for Revs with a double-double. He had 10 points and 13 rebounds.
But the game fizzled out to a, 37-55. Martin Edwards with 10 points, 13 rebounds. Steelers' Jack Long had 12 points and 12 rebounds. But it fizzled out for a Steelers victory.
Yeah, and Maddie Thompson bagged 15 in
Wonder
the game.
Woman. We're going to call her WW from now on, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she let the world know that day.
Now, this game, the second premiere, had controversy in it. We'll get to it as we're getting later. Controversy in it. Definitely, what a game. The Jags versus the Titans. Great game. Jacob Robinson, who I know well.
Jake Robinson, let me tell you this. I'm sure we bigged him up on last year's
definitely.
final special. The guy has got a basketball IQ.
Yeah. He's a good player. He's a real good kid, good basketball player. Why he's not in the GB setup, I don't know. But he should be.
Yeah, I'd have had him in. But the other one that was strange was Titans coach, Matt Seeley, player coach, shall we say, was AWOL. Wasn't there this weekend.
And it was left down to?
Sugden. Louise Sugden.
The less said about that, the better. Let's move on.
Well, to be honest, she tried. I mean,
you can't blame a trier.
Maybe it was just a level too high for her. I don't know.
You can't blame
Let's
a trier.
just say she tried.
So maybe she's been coaching all the games and she was tired.
Yeah. Another guy that stood out was James Hazel for Jags. This guy, he made some of the funniest little spin shots and finishes on cuts he made in the key, in traffic, amongst all the bigs. He stood out. He was a great little player. Yeah. I was really impressed with James Hazel.
And Lewis Edwards, who we gave a pretty tough time last year, looked sharp.
Yeah,
really sharp and talented.
We railed him last year, didn't we, when he was in that Reading team pressing everyone in Division 1. But this year, Lewis Edwards, he looks the real deal.
Yeah.
He looked really impressive. And he's a bit like Jordan Luch. He crosses with the ball. He draws fouls. He goes at full whack.
Yeah, he had a good game.
I was impressed with Lewis Edwards.
I thought Jack Perry in the third quarter, 2 massive threes. And we're going to get to the 3-point shouting in this game later on. But yeah, 2 massive threes to keep the game close in the balance.
The other one is this. I watched it. It was nice to see I.W.B.Delinquents playing. Obviously, he was my roomie when we broke into GB. But let me show you this. On your screen now, that's a picture of Addy in 2002.
23 years ago.
No, 2002. 23 years ago at the Gold Cup, Japan. And he sat still at the point and got pressured off a one-pointer. He still does it now. 23 years later, he stops with the ball at the point.
But he's 50 years old now, lad. Come on.
I know he's 50 years old, but what my point of this is, that's how the game has not evolved. We haven't evolved the game. The only time the ball should be at point is if you're calling a play. And let me tell you this, I've never seen anyone call a play this weekend.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be sat still, because
for me, he holds the ball and he stops his chin with his elbows.
Yeah, for me, if somebody's like that, I'm going past him. That's see you later, lad. Even at my Randall age of 56, I'm taking downtown. End of.
But then you see the picture of him in this game where he sat still with the ball. I just don't understand. For any of the youth watching, the ball comes down the left or the right because it attracts the defense to watch that side. Doesn't come down. If it comes down at the point, everyone in the D is watching the ball. Yeah. So everyone sat still. The defense isn't able to move. No. Who's the other one? Oh, the commentator said an absolute classic. Right at the end, 5.1 seconds left. And he says, well, that's it. There's a 4-point lead. 5.1 seconds left. It's a 2-possession game. The commentator. It wasn't Dylan Cummins.
No, 2-possession game. Well,
it was a 2-possession game with 5.1 seconds left.
Technically, it is a 2-possession game. They need to steal. They need to score and steal. It's going to be difficult, but it can be done. But that is not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the half court that this referee has called. It's abysmal. Come on, it's not half court. The ball.
Well, we had a big debate over it, didn't we?
But I've checked 8 second. He called an 8-second violation. Now, the ball.
Hang on. Let's play the clip so they know what we're talking about.
Let them decide.
Harry picks it up.
27 seconds on the game clock.
Big possession this for the Titans.
He's the one to pass it.
8-second violation has been called.
Right, let's do it. Go on.
The guy dribbles over into the front court. So the ball is in the front court. It's in the front court. Yes, one of his big wheels is in the back, but the ball's in the front court. And then he gets pushed into the back court. So the call either is it's a foul on the defensive player, or there's no call. It's not an 8-second violation. The worst thing about the referee is he's standing 2 inches from the bloody play.
I know, yeah.
And I can't even say he needs Specsavers because he's got a pair of glasses on already. What part of 8 seconds was that? And you know what the worst thing about it was? Right in the crux of the game. Why do you referees insist on controlling the game at that stage of the game? It was never an 8-second violation. The ball, and as you see, the rules say the ball has to go get over the halfway line. It doesn't say the player, it says the ball. Now, if the ball is in the air and he's calling 8 seconds, the ball's in the air, so nobody's got control of the ball. So that is an 8-second violation. He dribbled it over into the front court. Yeah. You dummy.
Well, let's put it out.
He killed the game.
When you see this show posted on Facebook on Friday, leave your comments on Facebook when you think it was an 8-second call or the referee made a serious
Yeah, but it killed the game. The game was right on the knife edge.
Yeah, it was.
And he's killed it. And the referees, you do it all of the time. There's a no call. Like, if the ball was in the backcourt still, it's a violation. It's an 8-second violation. He was in, like, 95.5% of his chair was in the front court with the basketball. And then the defender, actually pushes him as well, tries to turn him around.
Yeah.
For goodness sake, ref, stop messing with the game.
Yeah.
Kill the game.
Key point. But, who was it? We had Lewis Edwards with a double-double, 17 points, 12 rebounds, and he stood out.
Yeah, Lewis, you know what?
Stand out.
What a year you've changed. This time last year we were giving it to you, but we've got to give it to you in a different way. Hell of a game. 17 points, 12 rebounds. Jack Perry double-double, 25 points and 11 assists. But for me, Jags won it 76-72. The refs killed a great game, which was going to have a great ending. Guys, come on, refs. Let the players decide the game. Let the players decide the game, not you guys. Yeah. So that was that.
That was that. And then it was that moment on Saturday night, primetime viewing, the pay-per-view event. It was the WPL third and fourth playoff and the final.
Okay. What was I doing then?
At this point, the Red Bull got cracked open.
Yeah, so we're talking about the third and fourth playoff first.
All right.
Yeah. Worcester versus the Mohawks. And I thought the Mohawks probably would win it, but I think the problem with that, I think they, it's like when you're going for you're in the semi-final for the gold medal, going to play for a gold medal, and then you got to get yourself back up. It's the most difficult game in the whole of land to play for third and fourth. And I think Worcester just had a little bit of it.
Yeah, they were the better team. They were the better team. What baffled me was you've got Lucas Warburton, who's the coach, and then you've got Paula Johnson, who's listed on the stat sheet as the assistant coach. I've never seen her speak. All she does is carry the water.
Maybe she's the water girl like the film. Do you remember The Water Boy?
Yeah, Adam Sandler. Yeah, honest to God, she just carried the water. But then they had a third assistant. I'm sure he was down as a third assistant. And it was the GB under-23 tag rest from Sheffield.
Hey, can you hold on? Later. Wait, hold on. Can you hear the train? It's the Oxo train, aka the gravy train, I think you would call it. Unbelievable. And, Lucy Robinson, the standout in there, 29 points, and that was the difference, really. Half-time, game was done, 33-20.
But this is what I'm talking about. So Lucy Robinson, a Paris Paralympian for GB women, played the third and fourth playoff. She's going to stand out because she's a Paralympian. If she wasn't going to stand out, she wouldn't be in a GB vest, would she?
No.
The same as someone else stood out in the final. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that level. We're putting Paralympians up against third division. I wouldn't even say third division. I'd say development players.
Yeah, so she ended up with 29 points, 17 rebounds. Worcester's captain, Jade Louise Logan, she finished with a triple-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 14 assists.
Yeah, first triple-double in the finals, that was.
And Leanne Adams, the 5-pointer, she ended up with 12 and 14. So, Mohawks, great job getting to the playoffs, but didn't quite make it. So, it's okay for your debut season. Let's get to the final. What another shit show this was.
Yeah, it was.
Jesus Lord.
Don't forget, you've got some very high-paid people in an office putting this as the primetime event of a Saturday night. I know we keep badgering on about it, but honest to God.
It was a mismatch from the start to the finish. And what makes me laugh is, and we'll go on to it after, because, it's a long show today. It finished 80 to East London Phoenix to 50. 42-22 at halftime.
Yeah.
There was barely anybody watching. We got the Dutch girl, Dutch international. She comes here. She's got 30 points and 17 rebounds. Sophie Carey, 30 minutes ball handling and finished with 3 rebounds and 3 assists. And then who got the MVP? Sophie Patterson.
Sophie Patterson, the captain.
Now, this is my point. This is your flagship, right? This is your flagship, right? Should we talk about it just after we finish the games? Yeah, let's talk about it after we finish the game. So that was your flagship Saturday night, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, let me tell you this. I don't think I wrote this down in the script, but I'll put it out there anyway. There's only so many GB women playing in the Premier League, the WPL this year.
I was going to talk about it later, but
you want to talk about that later?
Yeah, let's finish off the games and we can come back to that.
All right.
Game number 13. The third and fourth playoffs for Division 3. The Arrows versus the Jacks. And it finished 28-51. There must have been 2 excited people in the seats.
I think the 2 excited people in the seats for this, don't forget, this is Sunday morning. 9:30 Sunday morning, this. The 2 people in the seats were the 2 refs ready for the next game.
Yeah, were they asleep?
The reason I'm saying that is because look at these 2 photos I'm putting on the screen right now. There's more officials than there is spectators, and it's not even funny.
Yeah,
one of them 2 pictures that you've just seen was sent in to us by a fan saying there's more officials than spectators.
Yeah, so the game finished 28-51. Simon West, game changer, 20 points and 9 rebounds. 1 rebound off of a double-double. So, yeah, let's move on. We got the final. Game number 14, the final.
Well, like the semi-final, there was one name that was always going to be on the talking point of this game. Corey Cox, the big guy, the mopper-upper. I tell you, he took some tumbles again in this game, but he bounces back up. He was absolutely superb. I mean, honestly, he made the 3rd division exciting for me.
MVP. You got the MVP.
He did get the MVP.
16 points, 13 rebounds, double-double.
He's only young as well, you know. He's only a young kid, but he's a big unit.
Hey, it might be good to get him and Bradley together. Do you know what I mean? Give them some real coaching. I know they're getting good coaching now, but some expertise in that. Corey, yeah, he was exciting. He made the 3rd division really good. And we had
Swansea Storm were the team throughout the 3rd division. They, like I said, in the semi, they had the press. They looked organised.
Good.
And they thoroughly deserved to be champions.
Good to see. But Lothian done well. Double-double for David Steele with 12 points, 14 rebounds. Owen Shannon with 12 points and 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
So a decent final. Ended up finishing 46-38. Swansea Storm taking the 3rd division title. Congratulations, Swansea Storm. Let's move to Division 2. 3rd and 4th playoff. Steelers versus Smokies Rollers.
Yeah. Well, a game with no crowd, and it was a hard watch. What made it even worse was, for some reason, no one had appointed a commentator for this game. So there was no crowd, there was no atmosphere, and even for the people watching at home, there was no commentary. To be honest, at one point, there was no scoreboard neither.
Yeah. But obviously the weekend was tough for the High Rollers. They look at aging team. You know, I think they just need some youth in there. But my man, yes, go Bradley. What did he get? 21 points, 10 rebounds. Now that's a haul, kid. That's a haul. I'm loving it.
Key to the win. Steelers had 12 turnovers in the game. High Rollers had 23.
You know why? Smokey, man. You know what they were doing on Saturday night. Smokey, come on, lad. Stay with the game, man. 23 turnovers.
He'd have had him in the back of the car park, Gibbo.
Yeah, it's a good 3rd and 4th job, Bradley, with 21 points, 10 rebounds. Now we get to the final. We thought was going to be a bit of a barn burner, but...
Well, it's got some talking points, this final. Yeah. Let me tell you that.
Go for it,
the game was always going to be Tom Cutts against Jamie Morris, the 5-pointer. That's what we was expecting. The 4.5 be the 5-pointer. But the game changer was a female for Manchester Rev. Neem Horan. What an outstanding game she had. Unbelievable. Honest to God. Fast breaks, outside shots. She was all over the field.
The thing is, John, she shouldn't even be knocking on the door. She should be through the door for the GB women's team. Got to be through the door. She was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, she was. She has to be knocking on the door. If she's not already involved in GB camps, it's a sin. It's a sin. I'm telling you. She was unreal. She was the game changer. 100% the game changer.
Yeah, but the game was really put to bed in the first half, wasn't it? You know, first quarter ended 21-8.
First quarter.
And then 37-14 at the half.
Yeah. And then we got the polls. By half time, we had the polls. Gary Peel, his magic coaching. One arm folded, one arm up to his little goatee. But Gary Peel drove Manchester Revolution to a Division 2 final win.
But you know what's outstanding? When you look at her points, because I'm just reading it here, she had 22 points of 52% shooting.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a job.
Well,
52%. Wow.
Hang on. Don't forget, what did they say about the other female before? 1 of 11.
52% shoot. But there's a bit in the game. Talk about it, lad. The offensive fouls.
Well, we've got a little clip here to show you. And I can't say the surname of the referee, but I'll try my best. I.W.B.F. referee Francis Kremarak. She stood 8 feet away from this play with a 5-pointer, more or less, ram raid. This 1-pointer.
It was like a ram raid, wasn't it? And knocked him sideways.
Knocked him sideways, a good foot in his shirt. No call. That's an I.W.B.F. referee. Here, take a look at the clip.
What? Havana, outside.
So as you would have just seen...
Bloody hell. It hit me, that did. He hit me so hard.
He didn't just move the 1-pointer. He actually moved the other big defending him. He ran that hard right in front of the referee.
But think about this. He moved him sideways.
Yeah.
You try moving a wheelchair sideways.
Exactly.
That's how hard. It's an offensive foul.
With someone in it.
Yeah, it's an offensive foul. Come on, ref. Stay with the game. Stay with the game.
But Revs, Neem Horan, definitely the star of the show. 22 points, 52% shooting.
Tom Cutts with 25 and 11 rebounds. And Finn Dowswell, double-double, 10 points and 15 rebounds. So here we go. We're moving up the charts. Game number 17, Division 1. The 3rd and 4th playoff. Titans versus the Aces.
Yeah.
7 in the crowd.
I got it to 7 at one point, yeah.
Hey, he's another little gem. He had a star. He was a star in this game, wasn't he?
Well, it was a close early battle, and the same thing happened for Aces. Jordan Luke was crossing, and Sean Chigumba was open, far side, weak side, unattended. He got his shot going straight away.
But I don't even know what to say. Coach timeout. Louis Sun got her timeouts at the right time. Yeah, she did get the timeouts at the right time, but did she change anything in it?
Yeah.
That's the classic point of it.
Yeah.
You know, the Aces were, you know, to be fair, fast, organised, but, you know, how the club has changed, to be fair. It's changed a lot, isn't it, that they're fighting for 3rd and 4th down there when they were winning Andre Gowns and winning Premier League titles.
What changed at that club, Aces, to where they were in the 90s, early 2000s?
Well, it's taken over by a different family. Nige was the driving force behind the team. We'd always have great players going there. And it just got taken over by other people in different directions, and now they're trying to rebuild the team. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is, isn't it, really? Yeah. But Joe Cliff, wow, he had a triple-double. 39 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists. Great.
39 points. I couldn't believe it. He had a cracking game. Yeah. And the funny thing was, straight after this game, he was lacing up for the Premier League game.
Yeah, 39
he was on the roster for the Premier League team and all.
He had a hell of a game. Now,
he did.
Let's move to the final Division 1. The final. Steelers versus the Jags. I thought it was a great game.
It was a great game. I mean, there was a piece of paper between them for 3 quarters.
Yeah, for sure. For sure there was. An absolute, you know. The only thing is
I
the
don't know
Jags
if
never
this
made
was-
the
I don't know
sub.
if this was I don't know if this was a sting in their own tail for Jags, but they never made a sub.
I love that though. Why sub if you don't need to sub? But they probably needed to make at least one change just to freshen it up a little bit. But
Yeah.
they finished with George Gray had a double, 18 and 19, 18 points, 19 rebounds. But the Jags, Matt Stan, almost a triple-double. Almost got a triple-double. Didn't quite get it. But
Well, the other one was this. Steelers DNA, as far back as I can remember. Once they got up by 10, they never lost the game.
no, that's the Steelers DNA. They just keep choking you and keep choking you and keeping you at that level. They ended up winning the game 49-44. Bonner ran out with 21 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and he was the MVP. The MVP of it. So Steelers take the Division 1 crown. Congratulations. Now,
Did you mention the MVP, Bonner?
of course I did. Didn't you just hear me? You got wax in your ears. Yeah, I know. Now we're moving
Yeah.
to the Premier League. The Prem of the Prem. And the third and
Last year's
fourth player.
final, innit?
I think it was last year's final. Manchester Revolution versus the Titans.
Well, first half, it was tit for tat.
Yeah, it was paper
I mean-
between the two of them. It was low
It
scoring though.
was tit for tat. It was low scoring as well. Half time finished 26-24 to Revs.
Yeah. But then, in the third quarter, they made a move. Opening with a couple of, a quick free from Martin Edwards. And I just think Titans were cold at the start of the third quarter.
Yeah, they were.
And they never really made a change or, timeout to stop it. They just continued. So,
Well, it was our third triple-double with Martin Edwards, 19 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. Not bad, that.
Not bad, Martin. Good job, lad. And then we have Tyler Baines coming in with 10 points and 10 rebounds. Jack Perry with a double-double, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists short of a triple-double. And Joe Clifton, he had 12 points and 11 rebounds.
But Joel Clifton, just think, he's just finished the game with 39 points and a triple-double. And going into this and got a double-double.
12 points and 11 rebounds. Maybe, they shouldn't have played him as long in the game before, and he should have played more in this game. Because, he's had a triple and then he's had a double-double. Any news on the Manchester? Because obviously the two girls play at that team. Don't look like they're on the score sheet here that I've seen or not really mentioned.
Well, I can tell you, the only one I know is because I followed her, Robin Love. In the first game, in the semi, she was 1 from 11. In this game, she was 3 of 11.
Right. The less said about that, the better. So, good job, Martin Edwards. Good job, Revolution. They bagged third spot. Now, finals time. The Premier League final. Sheffield Steelers versus Nottingham Jags. Not only is it a derby, because they're so close to each other. Were Jags going to go and bag their first ever Premier League title or playoff title? Or were the Steelers was just going to take them? Man, we knew whoever made 60 was going to win this game. We knew that whoever made 60 was going to win this game. But
Magic number 60 was the key factor as well, because the result ended up 53-64 to Jags.
yeah, and I think the Jags done a superb job in defense. They shifted and made Sheffield rush their offense. And it was weird because they're quite calm. Usually Sheffield are quite calm and measured, but the Jags, they kind of looks like they've done their homework because Maddie picked up 2 early fouls in the first 5 minutes that kind of unsettled her, I think.
Yeah.
The one I was disappointed with is like Thomas Harvey. I was disappointed with. I had great things for that kid. He's got
Well,
the
we
tools.
said last year, didn't we? We thought he should be developed into a point guard role.
Yeah, he's got the tools, but kind of didn't really do a lot in it, to be fair, And the Jags, once they got in front, they kind of just stayed there, didn't they? They done what the Steelers usually do to other people.
Yeah.
The Jags, once they got in front, they got there, MVP Lewis Edwards, What a difference a year's made. 17
Unbelievable.
points.
He thoroughly deserved the MVP. He was the difference in the whole Premier Division this year. In
24 rebounds, 3 short of a triple-double. He only had 11 assists. The
But
Jags...
his fitness, even at this level, you know, last year we railed him about bossing the first division. He come up to the Prem. He had the same level of fitness. He was close. He was far fitter than anyone on the court.
Yeah, he bossed the game. Lee has some 5-point play. He had 25 points. George Bates, 15 points, 15 rebounds. It was a really good game. Now, picture this. You swap in the game Saturday night, the Premier League final, and get rid of the Women's Premier League final. Because I think, and I'm sure I'm right, this had the biggest crowd of the whole weekend.
Let me tell you that. I'm going to tell you that right now. Throughout the weekend, the live streams averaged 39 to 46. Sometimes it got into the 50s. The WPL final at one point got up to 38 watching it. The WPL final. And the Premier League final got up to 166.
This is a great game. It's a great game. Hey, lad. That was a hell of a wrap. We got every single game in there. We've talked about every single game there. But, man, we need to go to a commercial break because Da Vinci Mobility are waiting for us. So we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to continue with the finals, with our assessment of the finals. See you in a tick. We're back with part 2. Guys, I hope you was watching Da Vinci Mobility. They do everything that you want. We was watching it in the commercial break. Boy, man, Johnny, that was a tough first quarter, man. It was a long first quarter. I hope you guys like it. Now, let's roll in.
First half myself.
First half. Let's go. Part 2. Start it up, lad. Start it up. It's like a question and points.
In the second part of the show today, we're going to be doing 2 things. We're going to break down what we think is making the basketball level so poor because the level is poor. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a low level of basketball what we're delivering right now. And then after we've done the basketball feedback, we're going to ask you some questions about BWD and some points that we spotted. So we'll get straight back into it. The basketball levels. We've mentioned Jordan Luch and Lewis Edwards crossing. No one else does it. Is that not a fundamental of the game?
Yeah, for me it is because, like, if you're crossing, if you've got a man on you, it's easy to pick him. And, you know, defensive players, you always want to go, oh, I'm taking... say, for instance, I'm taking Lucy. He always comes down the left, and all of a sudden he crosses and he goes to the right. It just displays the defense, and it makes the defense think what's happening. And, you know, you can cross and go straight down the middle, post up.
Well, if I'm coming down the right and Paul Schultz is defending on the right, I'm going to cross.
To get away from him.
I'm going to go and take Eric Barber on, and then all their defense has to cross, and then it causes chaos. That's the whole point of crossing.
Yeah, so that's that. I think tactics are missing. You know, you can see.
Tactics are missing. I didn't see anyone call a play. I didn't see anybody call a play. Even at the lower levels, I'm talking, what's the point of calling a play? Let me tell you, the reason why you have set plays is because when you've gone 3 or 4 offenses in a row, you're not getting a basket, and you need a basket, just call a play. Calm your nerves down.
Yep.
It's not like it's just for the 3rd division. We did it at GB. We'd have a timeout, and Murray would say, listen, next offense.
Let's go with what we need to go. We get the guy, the shoot. It's about getting your shooters open.
Getting the shooter at a ball, absolutely.
You know, we used to run the play for Simon, you know, to get him open, or we clear out to get, you know, you can run a clear out play where, you know, your big guy is one-on-one, and if he's crossed, he could be one-on-one with a low pointer, and then it's an easy bucket.
Yeah. But like you said earlier with Addy and Apitan, it's not just him. We pointed him out because he's an experienced player, vast experience. But the ball still comes down at a point. The defense doesn't have to move.
Yeah, you come
off. The ball
I think the point. I would come off, you know, the wings as a point. We do it in the AB game with my team. They always used to be bringing the ball down at the point, and I said, no, I want it off the point. I want it 6-7 feet off the point. So then you can drive to the point, and you can get a screen, hit the screen in, because the guy doesn't know what's coming. When you're in the middle, the guy can get cover from both sides, the defense. But when you're offset, you can't get cover from both sides because it's too far away, and that means that if that defender, the two defenders, the guy at the point and the one on the wing comes over, that means the guy at the back, he's one-on-one with maybe a big guy. Easy basket.
Yeah.
He's easy basket.
Well, one of the key factors I've seen this weekend, and everybody can go back and watch all the footage if they want, and you'll realise what I'm about to tell you happened in every game. There has to be about a 35% chance whoever dribbled over the halfway line in offence took the shot. Because there was no ball movement.
Yeah, they just passed it. They just
dribbler
passed it
ended up being the shooter.
No, but I think they passed for the sake of passing. They didn't actually run a pick and roll. So what I would say about Sheffield when I was watching it, Maddie was at the point and she needed to get open better for a better shot. All she needed was a cross pick from one of the guards. A cross pick, she gets closer to the bucket and she probably would have had a layup. Yeah. But you know what I mean? And the standard of refereeing was low. Seriously. And the thing is, it has got lower, worse and worse because the last championships, we didn't even have a referee at the Paralympics.
Yeah.
When's that ever happened?
Yeah.
Well, you can tell the standard is low because when a referee, and I'll go back to that 8-second violation, he's standing on the play and he actually calls 8-second violation when the ball's in the front court. It's got me. And no travels were called.
First travel I spotted was the 11th game.
But they were traveling.
It wasn't the first travel, believe me. I've seen travels.
No, it wasn't. There was no set plays when scoring dried up. They just carried on doing the same thing. The 3-point shot was...
The 3-point shot. I've got to talk about this. Let's explain a basketball sense of the 3-point shot. One, it's a weapon. Right now, it's like going back to 1980. There's people taking a 3-point shot because the shot clock's running down at the end of a quarter to get a shot off, or at the end of a half. Or they're shooting a 3-point shot because they're losing. Why can't you shoot a 3-pointer when you're winning?
Well, it's a weapon. It's a deadly weapon as well. If you've got a great 3-point shooter who's going to take that because it spreads the defense, doesn't it? If he's made, even when we were playing, if someone was shooting a 3 and he just hit the front rim or he's hit the back rim, you're thinking, damn, he's got some range. We're going to have to get out to him because if he gets hot, it's going to be too late. But it's not used at the moment. I don't see in any of the games. It was either burped up at the end of a quarter or at the end of the shot clock. There wasn't...
Well, think of it this way. We pointed out before, one of the teams scored 52 of their 55 points in the paint. Right? If you've got a 3-point shooter, the defense has to extend. And when the defense extends, it creates more space. And when you've got more space, it's easy to manage pick and rolls. It's that easy. The 3-point shot creates that much.
But it's not even... The thing is, it's not even if you score it. If you know that guy's a threat. And we played against some great 3-point shooters. And they were a threat. You jumped out on him before he even got going because you just didn't want him to get started.
Well, the stats for the 3-point shot was like this. There was 2 of 13 throughout the WPL games. In the third division, there was 2 of 14. So did you see what I was saying about them two?
Yeah.
The third division and the WPL, 2 of 13 and 2 of 14. They're just alike, the WPL and the third division. 4 of 18 in the second division, 5 of 26 in the first division, and 7 of 35 in the Prem. Now, let me tell you this, 2 factors. 1, I'd say 15 plus threes in that stat sheet were at the end of a quarter or the end of a half, thrown up, hook shots, you name it, whatever. The other is this, there was 7 of 35 made throughout 4 games of Premier League basketball. I have made 9 3-pointers in 1 game.
And I've made 7.
One match, I made 9.
My team, my able-bodied team, they take about 33-pointers in a game. In a game. Not in 4 or 5 games, in a game. Where's it gone? I'll tell you where it's gone. It's because the big guys who don't really have that range are handling the ball, and the guards are kind of more like cannon fodder. And I know there's some good players out there that should be shooting the 3 ball.
But let's get to the key fact. And the key fact is this. Changing off the threes. This weekend, some teams had 5-point players in the starting lineup who were able-bodied, obviously. But then teams had disabled 4 and 4.5 pointers on the bench.
Yeah.
And this is also the WPL and the Premier League.
See, I understand it, John, at a lower level, Division 3, the lower level of Division 2, and the lower level of the Women's League, because you're trying to get people to play. I don't get it now at the top level.
Well, let's put it this way. I'll ask you 2 questions. First question. Jaguars have just won the Premier Division. Are they in Europe yet next year?
Well, I assume so, yeah.
Okay. So that's one question. The other question is, without Liam Hassel, would Jaguars have won the Premier League?
I don't think they would have. I'm not
because
sure they
you
would.
can't play next year in the European Cup. So what's the point? What's the point of that team winning, qualifying for Europe, but then the second highest scorer can't play for them?
Doesn't really make sense. It's not, I don't know. I just don't think it should be at that high level, the Premier and Division 1. Because the Division, why I say that, Division 2, so you get your team and you're working your way up because, you ain't got many players. But as you're getting more successful, you should get more players. By the time you get to Division 1, your team should be ready to challenge for the Premier Division, so it shouldn't be no 5s.
That's why I mentioned before in the first half of the show, Aces, they got 3 5-pointers on the roster.
And the other thing is, you're talking about the Women's Premier League, you're saying that's the greatest league in the world. There should be no 5s in there.
No, but realistically, the WPL should have 5s in my opinion, because it's as low level as a 3rd division. So,
all right, then you win that argument. I can't even argue with that. I can't even argue with that, lad. I can't even argue with that one. I can't.
But that's what we think about the basketball level. Now we're going to break down.
But hold on, though. There was some good games, though. To be fair, there was some good games.
Some good games, and there was some good talent found.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people I've never heard of: Corey Cox, Tom Cutts, Sean Chigumba. All deserve a shout out.
Yeah, Bradley, Tom. See, I keep going back to Bradley because I think Bradley's going to be great.
Who was the other one? Lewis Edwards. Should he be back in a GB shirt?
Yeah, definitely. He had
unbelievable.
And the star of the show, it's got to be our what was her name? You told me her name. Nori? Yeah.
Nora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she ain't in that team or in that squad, then I don't even know. Anyway.
Okay. So now we're on to the BWB points and questions. The first one is classic. And it wasn't just asked by us now. It's been sent in to us. People have asked us this, so we're going to put it as the top question. Why sell tickets?
I'm not really sure. Because they
didn't sell tickets?
They didn't fill the stadium. But the thing is, all right, why sell tickets? That's fine. But you tried to sell tickets, but you've not actually advertised any of the games. Worcester and the area of Birmingham is a hotbed for basketball. My team's in Birmingham. My team didn't know that was going on. I got friends that play in Worcester. They never knew it was going on. The students are there. They never knew it goes on. So if they don't know who's going on, then it's a poor show. That place should have been bouncing.
Well, the only people that were in the crowd were friends and family of the teams that were featured. Now, I guarantee if there was no ticket price, you'd have got more members coming down to watch.
But John, I understand that, but even you got to advertise. Worcester is a hotbed of basketball. They've got a basketball academy. The university have a basketball academy. None of those players were there. You know, you got Worcester Wolves, they're in the WPL. Nobody of that, didn't they pass the message on?
Yeah.
You got to advertise. If you don't advertise, it's a waste of time.
Well, if you think back to when we used to have the Paralympic World Cup, stands were packed.
Because it's advertised.
Go back further, the Big 8, 1990s. Stadium was packed.
But it was advertised. Everybody knew, and we didn't even have social media then. It was like word of mouth getting into, like how many schools are in Worcester? There must be loads of schools that the kids love to come and watch sport. Give them free tickets.
Going to say to you. Exactly. The Paralympic World Cup, we had schools invited.
Give them free tickets.
Kids screaming. Creates an ambience. There's another ambience for you. We used to have Mike Shaft, the legendary commentator, commentated the Big 8 94. And he also did Paralympic World Cup games in Manchester. Why have you not invited him? Because there was no ambience in the stadium. Right?
Big Ron. What about Big Ron?
Yeah, get someone in, commentating on the game live, pitch side.
Yeah, but it's too hard, isn't it? Come on, it is too hard. We had commentators on, but we need commentators are going to bounce against each other. DC, great job, but just remember when he was with Gabriel, it was brilliant.
Exactly.
It's hard to commentate on your own. It is hard to commentate on your own. You need a two-man crew. You need more diverse commentators as well. That got knowledge of the game. They bounce off of each other. I know I'm plugging me and you, but I think we would be great.
Yeah, so do I. But another key one regarding online, so we mentioned before, the most watched game live was the Prem final Sunday. By a country mile, over 100 more than any other game. Live viewing at the same time. Have a look at this comment sent in to us at the start of Friday. This is by Henrietta, one of our top fans on Facebook.
Hey, Henrietta. Nice to see you.
Asking the same question as us. Why was the chat disabled? Why was the chat not enabled?
I'm not really sure, but it's a big part of sport now, isn't it? The chat. People say what they like. They have a good banter.
I've got it for you. Because in the chat, there would have been negative comments that they don't have the answer to. The same as what there would be if you had an AGM. So why do you not have an AGM? The same as the reason you don't have live chat enabled.
Yeah, but the live chat's fun, isn't it? We wouldn't have relocated with Captain Scarlet, would we? If we didn't have live chat. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
We have a laugh with him, but we wouldn't have located. People chat together, get more friends on. We talk. And the viewers will be even bigger because you've got international people coming.
Exactly. But think of it this way. If you was in a live chat, how many people would have texted me, getting the live chat, it's funny as they're kicking off, they're this, they're having a dig in it.
Yeah.
Everyone's in all of a sudden.
And then we all say good night, see you at the next game.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Now, last year, we made 2 points in our final show to point out that the BWB should have invited Dylan Cummings because he was breaking through in commentary. We also made a point that Essex wasn't central enough. And this year, Dylan Cummings commentated on a couple of games, and Worcester is a lot more central than Essex. So, a BWB listening to us, do you think we know what we're talking about?
No, they're never going to say that. They're never going to say that, lad. They're never going to say that. You know that. Well,
we've said it before, we've said it again. 1.2 million, right? On the WPL. And you could have a 2-court home stadium, that's yours, with officers in, so you don't have to hire from Loughborough, built specifically for disabled, because let's get something straight. The stands that were put on, the 7-row stands that were put on each side of the game at the finals were not wheelchair accessible. So where did the disabled sit? They were bumped in each corner of the game, in the corner bits, while the stands were there empty. So that was you know, you thought out of the box there. An able-bodied thought process again.
Well, my most disappointing thing is the presentation. Bainesy, you let us down, man. We thought we were just going to have Ronnie's new suit for the year. Ronnie's disappointed too.
Ronnie is disappointed.
She's really disappointed that she ain't got a new frock for another whole year. We can't put her in a blazer and a blouse. Did we frighten you off when you got that?
Ronnie's little leopard outfit.
I know.
But here's one for you. Can the format change?
Oh yeah, of course it should do. Of course it should do.
What I mean is, my eyes are like that, trying to watch 2 games. Can the format change? Are we stuck in old times here? Think about it. The Premier League is going through a semi-final and a final and final weekend. Why couldn't it not have a finals best of 5? Why can't we evolve the sport over here?
I don't know. Maybe loads of them do have a bit. Well, maybe I don't know. I'm not sure.
Germany do it. What's Germany best of 3?
Yeah, but it's home and away. They don't have their final 4 is like the cup game. You know, like the cup they have, the German Cup. That's what they class. That's like a final 4 in it, the German Cup. Same with Italy, they have the final 4. But when they have the playoffs, they have best of 5 series, don't they?
Yeah.
So
another fan sent a question in. You don't know about this thing because it's come late. When you go on B.W.B.'s Facebook and look at the photos of the winning teams, there's a billboard that says British wheelchair basketball, and they're all behind with the trophy and the ticket tape's gone off. And every billboard in front of the team celebrating says British wheelchair basketball. Except the Women's Premier League, where it says Women's Premier League on it. Why did they get their own banner?
Because they spent more money.
Unbelievable. They were the only. If you're going to make a billboard, have one what says Division 3 on, have one what says Division 2 on.
Division 1.
But no, the only one that gets it was the WPL.
Funny that, innit? Funny.
I mean, here, there's a classic. This one irritated me. The CEO is presenting the awards. How's that inspiring?
Well, they don't see her the rest of the year, do they?
Well, for starters, I never saw the chair of the board. Never saw her there all weekend. But the only time I've seen Bainesy was when she was presenting the medals and the MVP trophies. Why not get someone in as a special guest to present them?
Yeah.
Why not get a legend in? Someone that the kids are going to aspire to. Someone that they'll all think, oh, God, remember him, yeah, all this. Nothing like it.
The reason is, John, because it's got to look like she's earning a paycheck, so she gives out an award at the end. That's why.
Mm.
And let's,
Well, before we wrap up, I've got 2 points I want to clear up.
Go on.
And then it's a wrap. 2 points. First. And this is something you wouldn't have seen in the stats, but I did. Because you know what I'm like for reading. So in the women's GB setup, there's 7 GB women that feature in the Premier League games. Remember, there's 4 Premier League games, 2 semi-finals, 2 third and fourth in the final. There's 7 GB women that consisted of Robin Love, Laurie Williams, Lucy Robinson, Kayla English, Beth Wheeler, and I don't know if Sophie Patterson, the MVP of the WPL, I don't know if she's in the GB yet or what. And the other is Jude Hammer, who's made a return. There's 7 women. And then 7 women provided 33 points in 4 games. And the GB woman that BWB have forced out the back door because she spoke up, scored 26 points in 2 games.
And she was on the bench because she was in
almost
foul trouble.
outscored 7 GB women.
That's a good point. But the other point is, we got this Women's Premier League that we're spending 1.2 million for, but we barely have a Paralympian women playing in it. It's a bit strange, that, isn't it? Why no Robin Love, no Laurie Williams? The list goes on. Why are they not playing in it?
I don't know. Why they all? Well, why is Robin Love and Laurie not in it? Why was Maddie not in it last year? Is there something that we don't know? If you know, let us know in the comments. But talking in the comments, before we go, I want you to have a look at these 2 comments that have been posted on our YouTube channel. The first one's by Disabled Patriot 424. He's been out of sport for years, but taking more of an interest mainly because of the delinquents. It was utterly bizarre to hear the introduction of the WPL when there was already a women's league. The logic is lacking. Love the show. And then CP Trader, whoever that is, we're still trying to find
him out. We need him on side, man. He's got to come and work for us.
He wrote, "We all know the WPL is terrible. End of story."
Is that it?
That was it. He was short and blunt.
That's hard. That's harsh, man. That is harsh. But before we go, honestly, the final thing, John, I've got to ask you this question. And you don't know I'm going to ask you this question. Did you see that promo they put out today?
I did see the promo video. And I think, before you ask me anything else, I'm going to say this. It's an absolute disgrace, and you've thrown the guy to the wolves again.
Honestly, I have never seen, and we've had people talk about it, right?
Yeah, it's in our inbox. 3 or 4 people have already inboxed us.
That is a disaster. So you've done a great job, I think, with the weekend of the championships, actually viewing and actually getting some content on there. You've done a crap job advertising to get there. Whose idea was it to put that out?
Yeah. Who sanctioned that?
Honestly, the guy, I feel sorry for the guy. He looked like a rabbit in headlights.
Yeah, he did.
He looked like a rabbit in headlights.
Even the editing of it. Why is Jay Poppet introducing it and then it's took over by this beginner coach? I just don't understand it.
Who was like a rabbit in headlights.
He was. I felt sorry for him.
I did feel sorry for him. Like, if he had a board that he was reading off, it was too far away from him because he was stuttering. He was also, it's terrible. Take it down. It's embarrassing.
If any of the viewers are wondering what we're talking about, if you go onto BWB's Facebook or YouTube channel, there's a new promotional video about what is wheelchair basketball. That's what we're talking about. It's a disgrace.
It's a total disaster, honest to God. I don't know if I was laughing at the start, the finish, or I just didn't watch anymore after about 1 minute. Once he started stuttering, I was like, oh my God.
That video, though, it makes me think this. Does UK sport and Sport England think we're leading the race? Or do they think, oh, it's leading me? What? They can't be happy with what we're producing. They cannot be happy.
But they might think that's great. Look what they're doing, these things that they're doing. Only the real people know how good it is. That is a total disaster. That's not even like coming back the 60s or the 70s. It's awful. Take it down before you embarrass yourself even more. And like, who's authorized it? Who said, yeah, let's do this. This is going to be great. Honestly. Anyway, guys and girls.
Congratulations to everybody that participated.
Yeah, the Jags grabbing your first playoff victory. Good job. You had a great tournament. Bradley Keep doing what you're doing, Maddie. Superb. Even the stars that we find, the young puppies that we found, just keep doing what you're doing. You know, things will change. We hope, fingers crossed, things will change. Johnny, what a show. This was a long one.
It was epic.
You know, it was a long one, but we had to do it. We had to do it. We're back to the normal show. I know you guys missed Johnny's news round. And I know you missed me, my masterclass, getting 5 out of 5.
And the dream team.
And the dream team. You missed that.
Next show will be all about the 3s and 3.5s.
Yep, the dream team as we go. Hey, we're what? 11 days until the Hall of Fame for June. 11 days, you've only got to wait. June the 1st, you will see our next inductees. So, whoa, you got a couple of weeks to go. Mark Young, you survived this week, but we're back at you again next week. I hope you're enjoying it, lad. I hope you're enjoying it. Guys, it's a wrap. I know it's a long one. Make sure you get a cup of tea and some chocolate biscuits. The Delinquent Show. Only the truth is told. Only the truth is told. We're going to see you guys next week. Johnny, good to see you, bruv. Good job this week. Now you can relax. We'll be on the beach, a bit like Liverpool. And we should hopefully have some great news as Tottenham pick up the Europa League tomorrow night. See you guys in a week.